Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. We got a really special one for you tonight. I got a special guest with me. We're going to be drafting one of his leagues. We're doing a Yahoo standard scoring league, 10 teams, and we're here with HarrisYT, YouTube. I think that stands for YouTube. But Harris, man, how's it going tonight?
It's going great.
And we're super excited here. Harris has the second overall pick. This is, how many years did you say this league's been going for you?
For me, it's been going since 2019, but this league is entering its 30th year.
Wow. Okay, so you got some veterans, to say the least.
Yes.
Going on in here. Okay. And it looks like I wanted to just see. Are you able to minimize the chat? I just want to look at the roster tab. If you go down, hit that arrow down. So we're starting 2 receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, and a flex. And then we do have the defense kicker. And so this is just your standard kind of roster format that looks like here. And again, the standard's a fun league. I have one league that is standard, and I always enjoy it because it makes you think a lot differently. What would you say the biggest difference, like when you're drafting with standard leagues, what are you looking for?
In standard leagues, last year I took more risks with standard leagues, but in standard leagues I look for the players who can get the most touchdowns.
Yep.
I don't really look for people like in this draft. I'm not going to try to reach for James Cook or reach for Antonio Gibson, because it's those players while they're going to have volume, it's just going to be a lot of receptions and stuff.
Yeah, so I would say we don't care about receptions here, clearly, but we care about yards. And I think I care about goal line touchdowns a little bit more. And you have the second overall pick. This draft starting in 18 seconds, so I'm going to kind of let you take it away. If you want to go ahead and put it back, remember when we filtered by flex, if you want to put it back to normal here, and you can just filter by ADP or whatever you feel comfortable with. You're driving the boat, Harris, so I want you to kind of lead us here, and I'm just kind of here to guide the boat. You said you'd want Justin Jefferson if he's there. I'm assuming he's going to be the first overall pick. So we got a minute, 30 seconds to make the pick here. If JJ goes, who are we looking at?
If JJ goes, JJ just went.
All right, so, we got a minute and 30 seconds, man. Tell me what you're thinking.
So I really want to go, and I really want to surprise the league and go Jamar Chase, but I've had Jamar Chase in this league before. I drafted him in like the 11th round of his rookie year.
Okay.
But Christian McCaffrey's just so good. It's hard for me. Who would you pick here?
I think it's strictly between Jamar Chase and Christian McCaffrey. If I told you that when I filter my projections by standard scoring, McCaffrey's the number 1 player, I think it makes a lot of sense to grab your anchor running back in a standard league. I really like the 49ers, man. I think with Jamar Chase, though, he might lead the league in touchdowns, which I think is fun. But yeah. I personally, we got 40 seconds.
Yes.
First player that comes to your head, who's going to score more touchdowns?
Probably Christian McCaffrey.
I'm cool with either one. I think they're both right answers. If it were me, I think I'm going McCaffrey. But and their points are identical here. But I'll let you make the final click.
I'm gonna start with the running back this one.
I think it's CMC. And when I was looking at the strength of schedule last night, so I was cooking up a cheat sheet for myself. And are you familiar with the name Warren Sharp?
A little bit.
All right, so he's like a fantasy analyst that has more like an analytical based website, and he's really smart. Like every year he puts out some really good stuff on his website, and the one thing that I look at every year is the fantasy like strength of schedule. And I'm actually we have the draft going on here, but I'm gonna pull this up for you guys and the viewers here. And I think it's very important, and this is actually going to make a lot of my decisions here. Can you guys see this chart? So this is the strength of schedule chart. Green is good, red is bad. The Saints and the Falcons have the easiest schedules this year. But do you look Carolina's interesting, but 49ers are right there at 5th overall. So I think the 49ers defense is going to roll. I think the offense is going to be efficient. I'm super excited about their divisional matchups because like the Rams are garbage, the Cardinals are garbage, the Seahawks don't really have that great of a defense either. So you're guaranteeing like 6 really awesome games against that division. And like the 49ers are trying to win a Super Bowl. Like that's what we want. We want good teams on good offenses, good players and good offenses. And I think in a standard league, man, like Christian McCaffrey just checks all the boxes. But I'll pull this draft back up. Do you want to click on the draft board?
Yeah, I just did.
Yep. Hit the one where it says draft board with the 9 dots. There you go. Yep. Oh wow, we got Bijan Robinson there at 103. I just want to shout out to Justin and Aiden in the chat room. Strength of schedule is very important. And the 49ers, man, I think they were at like 10.5 wins. I can't remember. Harris, if you had to put a number on the wins there, you taking over 10.5?
Yeah, I'll take them all the way to the NFC Championship.
It's very likely that it's 49ers versus Eagles again this year in the NFC, which outside of those two, I don't know if I can name another team that's even close to those two. So I love Christian McCaffrey. And the reason we took Christian McCaffrey here, man, that I think is very important is I don't think we would have liked the running backs on the turn at the 2-9 and 3-2. So locking in the stud running back was a priority for us here. And now we can just kind of sit back and just kind of wait for the receivers and some other running backs to look here. Now that was my take too, Justin. I was thinking Cowboys as the third team in the NFC. I don't know if Harris had another team that came to mind, but it's very likely it's the Eagles and the 49ers. And after that, like, honestly, I think the Saints are going to be there. But after that, like Cowboys, like I don't know who's going to be good in the NFC. It's going to be pretty lucky. But whoa, we got a Patrick Mahomes sighting. Is this normal for your league, Harris?
This league does overdraft quarterback.
Wow. Yeah.
But the weird sighting is Austin Eckler is still available.
Yeah, and see, well, Eckler does take a little bit of a dip in a standard format. If I filter my projections tab, Eckler drops all the way to running back 6. And Nick Chubb's actually my number 2 running back. Bijan's my 3. So it makes sense to me. And I also see Eckler's receptions and targets coming down because we expect the Chargers offense to healthy Herbert, healthy Keenan, healthy Mike. We expect them to throw the ball deeper a little bit, which not as many checkdowns to Eckler. So I totally get it. But I kind of want to just like maybe now that we got a few picks on the board here, do you want to maybe like what are you thinking at the 2-3 turn? Like what would be best case scenario for you here? We'd love to get some running. You can flip to the players tab if you want to just maybe mention some guys.
Bet if I could get either Tony Pollard or Josh Jacobs, that would be nice. But I probably wouldn't. I would love to. If I got AJ Brown, that would be amazing. Yep. AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson will probably be my next draft based on who goes.
I got AJ Brown as my wide receiver 4 in a standard format. So if you want to star some of these guys, you totally can. You can put them in the queue, and that way we can just see where they're coming up.
Let me just queue them. Tony Pollard,
Barkley at the top there. We're probably not going to get Barkley, but
no, I don't see myself getting Barkley or Derrick Henry in wide receivers. I would love AJ Brown, and then Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's probably going to be the pick if he's there. Okay.
And
unless if AJ Brown is there, then no.
Yeah, I think AJ Brown's the prize. Justin says Amon-Ra's probably going to come back around, and he's probably going to come back around. But
I'm not clicking.
Yeah, it's not his spot. But we do see Eckler come off at 108, Cooper Kupp at 109, Tyreek Hill still on the board, which is interesting. Do you project do you think another quarterback's going to get taken here in the second round and maybe push some more guys to us?
I don't see another quarterback going. I see the third. I could see 3 going in the third, but none in the second.
Okay. So
the third round is usually the third and the fourth round is usually when quarterbacks get overdrafted.
Got it. Okay. So with a standard league, we're set up to like you probably want to grab a running back too if we're lucky to at the 2-3 turn. AJ Brown would be the ideal prize. That super excites me. Is this a 4-point passing touchdown league, right?
No, this is 6.
6. Okay, so Mahomes makes a little bit more sense in the first round. I'm not saying I like it in the first round, but I get it. So with 6-point passing touchdowns, which quarterbacks are we looking for with our QB1?
I'm look. I did take Jalen Hurts last year in this league. That was I think a running quarterback still makes sense here in this league. I probably will most look at just Justin Herbert.
Okay.
Just Justin Herbert. I'll probably either get Justin Herbert or T Law.
Herbert makes them in the standard league. Herbert makes the most sense to me because after Mahomes, sure Josh Allen's going to throw. You want the 35 to 40 passing touchdowns. Like I think Jalen Hurts probably caps out at about 25 to 30, but he's got those rushing touchdowns that kind of evens the balance. So I like him quite a bit. I don't think Justin Fields is as good of a pick in a standard in a 6-point, like especially in a 6-point touchdown. I don't even want to think about Justin Fields. I'm looking at the passing quarterbacks. Now, I'm curious here. If you want to filter, can you filter by QB?
Yeah.
And then tap on that fan points. Tap on fan points. I just want to see what they got here. So Allen, Hurts, Burrow, Lamar, Fields, and they got Herbert all the way down there at 54.
They've Herbert after.
Yeah.
They've Herbert. If you go by ADP, Herbert. Yeah. Look where Herbert a couple days ago was after Lawrence.
Okay.
But
so he's kind of lining up for your 5th round pick. So if we want to just be conscious of that, that's cool.
Stephon Diggs is falling a little bit here.
We see Saquon Barkley and Tyreek Hill both go. Who got your league the 4th, right? We got your league the 4th. My league, the Superflex league is going to be Labor Day Monday. I don't know if that's the 4th or not, but yeah, Justin, we'll be drafting Monday. We'll do a live stream for it. And then my big league is Labor Day weekend. Harris, what other drafts we have your draft on Wednesday night?
Yeah, I have my draft on Wednesday night, and then I have your draft, and then my last draft is I'm doing the Megla Bowl with my dad.
Cool.
So yeah, I don't have very many, and the Megla Bowl is going to be the weird one because it's like just random people, so I won't even know what's going to happen.
Okay. So Josh.
There goes Josh Jacobs.
Off the board. I think we got to get Derrick Henry off the board yet, and that Tony Pollard, man, that would be pretty sweet. If you can get one of Pollard or AJ Brown to fall to you, I'm curious if Garrett Wilson would wrap back around in the 3rd round if he's there.
Let's say for example, someone takes AJ Brown and at my pick Stephon Diggs is there. Would you take him?
Between Garrett Wilson and Stephon Diggs?
Between Garrett Wilson. Let's say Tony Pollard's still there too.
Stephon Diggs just went.
Okay.
So
then, never mind.
If Tony Pollard's there, man, like the running back position, such a strong position in standard. Justin says you do need a cowboy.
I did draft a cowboy yesterday. I did draft who was it? Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks. I like Brandon Cooks on the bench. But man, like when I filter my projections by standard format, I got Tony Pollard as the 4th highest scorer. So the fact that he's still on the board here, he's to me the screaming value. And honestly, there might be a chance AJ Brown wraps around at 3.2. I don't know. Do you know the guy with the 101? Is he a guy that takes a lot of receivers? He's probably going to take at least one running back with one of those picks.
Yeah, if AJ Brown's here, I'm going no matter what.
Okay, and then we'll see if Pollard comes because you already got the CMC, so I think it makes sense to lock in AJ Brown. And like I said, I have AJ Brown as my wide receiver 4 in a standard format. So I honestly you can't go wrong. If it's Pollard or AJ Brown, you really can't go wrong. Now that we're 3 picks away, do you want to move over to the players tab and let's just see who's best available?
Here's our best available, which are Tony Pollard and AJ Brown. And there with Tony Pollard.
So Tony Pollard
Josh Jacobs is not still here. And there went AJ Brown.
Does it show who the latest pick was here on this screen? So Pollard, AJ Brown.
If I pull up this,
there you go. Okay. Yep. Okay, so take us through your head here. You're on deck. We're not taking JT. I think we're out on Devontae and St. Brown.
Yeah. Let's look at. I
don't think there's any running back that
I would maybe reach for Joe Mixon next in the beginning of the 3rd, but I'm not sure what you think of that.
We'll see what happens on the turn here. I think for me, you got to run the wide receiver pick in here. Hopefully, this guy takes like Devontae or something. But I'm completely cool with getting Garrett Wilson off the board here. I do have him as a top 10 receiver. Let me actually see where he is in these rankings. Yeah, I got him as like wide receiver 10. And yeah, I mean, with Garrett Wilson, man, we know the Jets are going to struggle to open the season, but they're going to have to throw the ball and be competitive in those games. So, like, it wouldn't surprise me if he just starts the year with like a touchdown in every game. And touchdown's the name of the game. I think Garrett Wilson he's a dark horse to lead. Like, if Garrett Wilson caught 12, 13, 14 touchdowns this year, are we going to be surprised?
Okay, there went Devontae Adams, so I'm on the clock now.
I mean, is there any way to talk anybody else up here besides Garrett Wilson? I mean, I think he's the guy.
I mean, I'm gonna go Garrett Wilson. He seems like the best and the safest pick here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where do I need
So,
to look in his name.
How far down is your Joe Mixon? Is there any chance Joe Mixon would make it to you round 4? Probably not.
Joe Mixon, let's see. Here, running backs.
He's ranked 33rd.
Yeah, he's ranked 33rd, and then he would be. Where's Joe Mixon? He's right here.
Yeah.
So he probably won't come back to me.
I would say no chance. Did you get Joe Mixon in your other draft that you did the other day?
The other day I did not.
Okay.
But I felt like in that league it was easier to get him based on where I was drafting.
Okay. Did the pick he just took Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
Already. Is there
Amon-Ra?
Okay. Is there anybody else here that makes sense to you to take over Joe Mixon?
I mean,
at this position.
I mean, none of the running backs.
Yep.
None of the running backs. So Joe Mixon's my top guy. Quarterback, we don't really have a following Josh Allen here. This is so probably no one Josh Allen. Wide receiver, maybe Chris Olave, but
so the only receiver I have ranked ahead of Joe Mixon is Jalen Waddle. I don't know if you're into that, but it's not by many points. The next, I have Joe Mixon ranked as my 24th best player. You're picking pick number 22 right now. It's right in line. If that's something you feel comfortable with, and then we'd probably look at wide receiver and maybe quarterback or tight end at the next 4-5 turn.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle for me is my 8th running back versus Joe Mixon's my 9th. So I'm gonna go Joe Mixon on this one. Joe Mixon feels like the safest player here.
And Justin says last pick get Gordon. We gotta tell Justin to quit it with the Melvin Gordon, man. Gordon. I actually think Justice Hill's the running back too in Baltimore, but we'll save that for another story. You want to filter back to the draft? Yep, the draft results. So far it looks like Harris has he's got the RB1 overall with CMC, and then he's also got a potential top 10 running back in Joe Mixon, feeling pretty good. Now, I mean, you got two of your starting running backs filled out. We need a receiver.
3 receivers in a row for this team.
Yeah, so he's going to need some RBs when it comes back around.
And I think this is an auto drafting team.
Okay. Interesting.
So let's see what my dad does with this pick.
So Kelsey and Tony Pollard. Honestly, I think Tony Pollard's been the best value pick so far in this draft. Pollard's going to be so good this year. But otherwise, when we're thinking about touchdowns, man, your next pick is 4.9. I think that's like pick number 39 or something like that. Do you want to maybe go back to the player tab? I mean, we got a few minutes to talk. We can look at it. Pick number 49 is going to be your spot, or 39. So if you're looking at,
my dad just took Devonta Smith, which is surprising.
Okay. How do I sell you on DK Metcalf, man?
Frankly, I don't think DK Metcalf's going to come back.
Okay, because I see him ranked 36 there, so he's going to be, coming close.
I didn't get DJ Moore yesterday either, so I really, really want to draft DJ Moore in this one. Okay.
Do you think DJ Moore has to be taken in the 4th round, or do you think he could slide around to the 5th?
I'm gonna wait till the 5th. I feel like I can get him in the 5th, but because I know this, the guy next to me doesn't need a receiver.
Yeah, he took 3 straight, right?
He took 2 and a quarterback.
Okay, and then so I mean, obviously, if Chris Olave came back around, like that's an easy pick.
Yeah.
But can you scroll a little bit below and show me what's below Metcalf and Jahmyr Gibbs? I know you're a Debo guy. I don't hate standard league is where I like Debo. Like that's where I agree with Debo. But otherwise, DJ Moore's not. He's lower, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're,
so
they also have a Mike Williams ridiculously low in this Yahoo.
and Mike Williams is a.
They're just winning Amari Cooper. That's kind of high.
Yeah, that's a little bit high. So we know we need a receiver with the 4-5 turn. Are you interested in taking two? Do you want to play it a little bit looser on QB, or are you trying to lock up? I guess we have to wait and see how many QBs go. But
I just want to see who's there. I probably won't do two receivers since I have Garrett Wilson.
Alrighty, so after you took Joe Mixon, we got Najee Harris, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, Amari Cooper. The Jonathan Taylor pull, man, I think his deadline's tomorrow. We'll see what happens with that. I'm not expecting anything to happen with JT, but T. Higgins off the board, and we'll see what happens at this turn here. We got some comments going on here. Yeah, PPR and standard is stuff. Yeah, we're helping Harris draft, Jason. We're hanging out with Harris here. We're doing a standard 10-team draft here on Yahoo. This is for money, man. This is a real deal. This is Harris's 5th or 6th year in this league, he said. And we're looking to secure this. We got the second overall pick. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 1, McCaffrey, running back 1, Joe Mixon, running back 2. So we're having fun. Harris is a huge Joe Mixon guy. Tell us why Joe Mixon?
Me?
Yep.
Yeah. I have Joe Mixon ranked as my 10th overall running back, and he's one of the best picks you can make. He has no competition whatsoever. He's probably going to be 3 downs all year, and he's on a great offense.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to ignore that Samaje Perine left, and they didn't add anybody. I think that's a huge win for Joe Mixon. We're talking about a bunch of unproven guys. I know they've had Travion Williams and Chris Evans there for the last 2 or 3 years, and then they drafted Chase Brown, but none of those guys separated in preseason. And I think Harris, like before the preseason game started, I was a little bit hesitant on Joe Mixon, but within each preseason game, I haven't seen anything from the backup running backs. And I've been getting higher and higher on Joe Mixon pretty much every week. And at this point, I do think if you wanted to put him as your running back 1 in a format, he can be your running back 1. But when you put him at running back 2, I think that's where he provides the best value. And like you said, it's the Bengals offense. We know it's a top 5 offense. It's probably top 10 at worst. So it feels pretty safe. And now you're locked in at the running back spot here. And then Justin asks, where's JT going? You got any takes on that, Harris, or you think he's going to be a Colt?
I think JT's going to be a Colt.
I think he needs to be a Colt. I'm curious though, because they've been saying that 2 teams are interested. I don't know which 2 teams it would be.
They're saying 2 teams. They're naming the Dolphins as one of them, and they're keeping the other one unanimous.
Yeah,
I did hear the Eagles at one point, but I doubt the Eagles are going to go after him.
Well, the Eagles just don't pay running backs, so that one I'm not really buying. I don't know what other team would pay for a running back. The Dolphins seem to be a team that makes sense, but it's like then they have to blow up, Raheem Mostert or Jeff Wilson. Got to figure it out here. So I think it's most likely that JT stays a Colt. He's going to have to just swallow his pride and report at some point here. But either way, like JT's not healthy. Like I don't know when he's going to be 100% healthy. He might not be good for a while yet. He's got a weird ankle thing. He literally missed all off season, like getting reps with this brand new offensive coordinator here. So personally, I just have circled Jonathan Taylor off my board completely. I'm just only wanting Anthony Richardson on the Colts. But for here, like this is a 6-point passing touchdown league. We're probably not looking at Anthony Richardson in this format, even though I think he can be a high floor. But yeah, I'm saying to avoid Jonathan Taylor this year. Why he costs a 3rd round pick, and I think in pretty much 10 or 12 team leagues. Just make a better pick. Like give me T. Higgins, give me Devonta, like give me all these these guys that I know are good at their jobs. They're gonna be there. They're like, especially like T. Higgins. He's on the Bengals. Chris Olave. He's the wide receiver one for the Saints. Like Devonta. Like it doesn't have to be so hard. Just kind of avoid the landmine. And whoa, we got double tight ends here in a row. Mark Andrews and T.J. Hawkinson. I do have to ask Harris, what tight end are you hoping to come away with in this standard format?
Once I saw right here that right at this pick Mark Andrews wasn't here, I was like, hoping Mark Andrews. Right now it's going to be my third ranked running back, which is Darren Waller. I think I can go get him at ADP in this draft, so I'll probably end up not taking a tight end with my next two picks.
So you're thinking the 6-7 turn, you're gonna get a Darren Waller to fall to us?
Yes, and then if I can't get a Darren Waller, I'm gonna leave it till like one of my last picks.
Okay. So I mean, I was just looking. I did some looking yesterday at like the fantasy points per game, and let me see if I can pull it up here, because it's pretty mind-boggling how freaking useless tight ends are. Like if you don't get a good one, the best thing I can tell you guys to do is to just wait, because the difference between the top 5 tight ends, like the top 5 tight ends are going to average between, well, Kelsey's going to get about 16, 17, 18 points. Tight end 5 and 6 are going to be about 11, 12 points. But after that, the difference between tight end 7 is going to be about 10, 11 points. And then the difference between like the tight end 16, it's only like 8.5 points. So we're talking 2 measly points, and you can get these tight ends for free at the end of the draft here. So I'm in agreement. Let's we'll probably punt the tight end position if we can't land a Darren Waller or someone to fall to us at the 6-7 turn.
Yeah.
But take us through here. What are you thinking here with this 4th round pick? As you got 1, 2, 3 more picks left to go. Missed on Debo, missed on ETN. That's okay.
So Aaron Jones looks good here, but I don't really need a running back per se. Let's look at each position. Quarterback, there's Burrow is still here. That'd be kind of fun to do a Burrow, but I feel like I can. I feel like if all these 3 players are at my pick, I feel like they could all be gone. They could all be gone after I do my second pick in the 5th.
Yeah, they're not coming back to you.
Yeah.
But I will say you were interested in Jamar Chase at the 2.
Yeah.
You can get him with Joe Burrow. Like that's a fun way to get, but we also have Joe Mixon. So I don't know if we want to put all our eggs in that basket.
I could try to go the stack with Keenan and here's Keenan and Herbert. Here's Tyler Lockett high.
Yeah, he's
DJ Moore is probably going to be
the 5th.
The fifth. So I'll probably go quarterback actually.
You're gonna pull Lamar, Burrow.
There just went Aaron Jones.
So 2 more picks until we go here.
I'm gonna wait to see what these next 2 teams do.
Yep.
Any of them need a. This team probably will draft a wide receiver, a running back, and then this team will draft. I don't know.
So do you know why it would be wrong to take a QB 4th over with the 4th pick?
With
go to the board
with this pick.
Do not take quarterback at 4.8 or 4.9. Do you know why?
Because they're bad, or I don't.
Because look to your left. What does the team to your left have?
Jalen Hurts.
Is he going to take a QB?
No.
Okay.
So I should take DJ Moore there.
So you can collect whatever QB you want on the wraparound.
But then I should do running back because he has none.
That's one way to look at it. I mean, I thought Aaron Jones stuck out a lot before. You know me. I mean, I love Dameon Pierce. I don't know if he's your cup of tea. Honestly, Harris, like I know we want the QBs, man, but in 6-point passing touchdowns, like I know Trevor Lawrence is going to throw a lot of touchdowns, and we can get access into the Jags offense. I don't hate it. Is there any running back that you like here?
I'm not doing Breece Hall since I did Wilson already.
Okay.
I really want one of the.
And I don't want to force you into anything you don't want to do.
I'm gonna go DJ Moore with this pick. I think he's the best pick available.
Yeah, I totally agree. Justin says he also likes Kenneth Walker here. I'm assuming Canna Kings is probably going to gobble 1, if not 2 running backs here. We'll see what he does. But we just had a good lesson here. You gotta pay attention to your neighbors. Like if we would have taken a quarterback here, we could have potentially lost DJ Moore, which is someone you really, really, really wanted. You couldn't get him in your draft last night. So there goes Dameon Pierce, maybe another running back here. At this point, I think any QB makes sense here. Cam Akers, the next player off the board.
Okay, I'm going to take a big risk at quarterback here.
Okay.
Do I go? Would you rather have Lamar Jackson or Justin Herbert?
How many touchdowns do you think Lamar's going to throw?
I don't. Lamar's such rushing upside.
I even in a 4-point passing touchdown, I have the difference. I have Lamar scoring more points than Herbert in a 4-point passing touchdown league, but it's only by 6 points. And I do have Herbert throwing a few more touchdowns in that league that would separate him, but like we're splitting hairs here. Are you more confident about the Ravens offense or the Chargers offense is the best question I can ask.
Yeah, I'm going Herbert here.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Lamar Jackson because I could do the stack with Zay Flowers.
Sure. Well, I mean,
but I'm like,
we can still get Zay, you know, we can still get Zay. I'm totally not in at this point, man, we're just collecting good players. We do have Al Boogie here saying he's doing a super flex and he started Lamar, Fields, Waddle, Stevenson. How am I doing? That sounds pretty good to me, Harris. I don't know about you, but a super flex with Lamar and Fields.
Yeah. You're set at quarterback for the whole season.
Yeah, and then I mean Waddle's his anchor receiver, Stevenson is anchor running back. I think you're set up here to just kind of continue tacking on running backs and receivers. If he wants to pull a late round QB to just have his emergency, but man, he's probably got almost 2,000 rushing yards there with his QBs, so that looks pretty good. Justin's calling for Waller the baller. Man, if we can get Darren Waller at the 6th, and you said he's lower in this. I can't remember where his ADP was, but
I think Darren Waller has a normal ADP in this. I think
he was lower than like Goddard in this. Like, yeah, he's lower than Pitts. Wow. Go ahead and click his star. Get that star on the queue. Yeah, if we can get Waller at the next turn, I think that locks in a big position. We got Justin Herbert on the squad. Mike Williams on the list, man. Mike Williams on the list for sure.
Mike Williams actually has gone up recently.
Do you see any other risk? Like, if we can get you Tyler Lockett, we're going to get you Tyler Lockett. I'm in love with DK Metcalf and both Tyler Lockett this year. And Al says that's a 12-team league. Well done, man. I'm curious what pick you had. You probably had maybe like the 4th or 5th overall pick, and you got Fields on the turn. Round 2, came back with Waddle, and then Stevenson fell to the 4, I would imagine. But yeah, we're going to be doing the Waller baller dance. I've noticed Yahoo, though. Yahoo does not respect Darren Waller. They leave him too low in their rankings, which is interesting. But I think we're at the point now where we're probably going to start to see like Joe Burrow come off the board, Justin Fields. We right now we want people to start picking quarterbacks to keep pushing players down the board for us, right?
Yeah, I don't think my dad's going to go quarterback. I could see him taking DK Metcalf.
For me, dude, DK Metcalf is one of my favorite players this year, and I think standard league is where he really shines.
Yeah, I knew he was going to pick him.
DK Metcalf is one of if DK Metcalf catches 13, 14 touchdowns this year, are you going to be surprised?
No.
So what's weird, Harris, is so the Jackson Smith and the Jigba injury, right?
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett moves up boards after that, yes?
Yeah.
Why not DK Metcalf? DK Metcalf did not move up boards at all, and we're going to get a month of no JSN essentially. So that one, it scratches my head. That one, that your dad's the new originals here.
Yes.
All right, that's a great pick here. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love DJ Moore and I love Justin Herbert, but I think the DK Metcalf value in a standard league, man, I'm taking DK Metcalf over Amari Cooper, T Higgins, Chris. Like I'm taking him at 3-6.
Okay, this next team could draft a quarterback. This is not the auto drafted, and Joe Burrow just went.
Interesting. Justin's asking thoughts on JSN, and then I'm pretty nervous about JSN, man. He's probably gonna, like the Seahawks have a bye week 5. He's probably going to be on the PUP list to start the year. I'm thinking he's going to be out 4 games. He's their first round pick. He's got a broken bone in his wrist. Why put him out there and have him land on it and mess it up when you can have him chill for 5 weeks? Seattle's looking at, being a pretty good team that they probably think they can make a good playoff run. Like, why can't Seattle be a team that, like, when we asked that question earlier, why can't Seattle be the third best team in the NFC, right? So I'm pretty concerned about JSN. I think he now belongs, like, he's like after Zay Flowers for me, like in a rookie draft. Like if I'm taking, like, I don't know, like Harris, like if you're drafting a rookie wide receiver, who's the first one you want?
The first one I want is probably either Zay or Jordan Addison.
Yeah, so like JSN's not even the number one, not even number two anymore. I think it goes Flowers, it goes Addison, and then after that, you could probably make an argument for some guys here. But JSN is probably a guy that still makes sense. Like, he could help us win our leagues this year, but he's pushing up Lockett, and he hasn't even pushed up DK Metcalf up boards yet. So I'm kind of pumping the brakes on JSN right now, and I'd rather just attack DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, man. That's how I'm playing it.
We have a falling Breece Hall here.
If he comes back, are we gonna have to think about it?
Yeah, we're gonna think about it. But then the Joe Mixon also has same bye week.
He's got the same bye week as Breece Hall.
Yeah,
dude, I'm not overly concerned about that. Bye week is just 1 week, man. We'll figure it out. You have CMC locked in there. If we have to start somebody, like, we'll figure it out. I wouldn't let. So here's the thing: are you gonna let 1 week, a 1 week move dictate how the rest of your season goes?
No, I didn't do it last night.
Okay, so I don't really care about the bye weeks. If you're nervous about bye weeks, then you can't draft the same QB with the same bye week, right? That's kind of the one thing. I think tight ends too, but when you have the wide receivers and the running backs that have multiple positions, they matter a little bit less, especially like by week 7, dude. Like the team that we're going to be looking at week 7 is going to be a lot different than the team we're looking at week 1, probably. Yes. So we'll figure that out. But moving into the 6th round here, I'm just going to recap the 5th. After Harris took Justin Herbert, you got Keenan Allen, J.K. Dobbins, DK Metcalf, Joe Burrow, George Kittle sighting, Lamar Jackson, Kay Walker, and Trevor Lawrence. So we're getting that QB run that we were hoping. It looks like we made the right decision because none of these guys were going to come back to us. Justin Fields still on the board, though. Interesting. But then Justin's asking here, A.J. Brown in PPR, when is he going? I think A.J. Brown probably goes.
I took A.J. Brown yesterday in a 10-team draft at the first pick of the 2nd round.
Was that full PPR?
Yeah, that was full PPR. I can get him as late in full PPR as the 7th spot in the 2nd round.
Okay.
So I draft 7, and then he goes in this, and then I draft him in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I think that early 2nd round is where you're looking for him. If you're in a 10 or 12 man league and you're kind of positioned in the back end of the draft, like you're looking at A.J. Brown on your list. He could go as high as the 5th or 6th receiver off the board in your drafts, but he's in a huge tier of like Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, St. Brown, Devonta.
We have a James Cook sighting.
He's in a huge range, so like you kind of got to do the rain dance luck with it. But James Cook, man, that's a little too early.
And we also have a homer sighting with Javonte Williams here.
Does Ayahuasca Man here have a running back ahead of him? Or is that his
Saquon? Yes, Saquon.
Saquon. Okay, so we'll see how he recovers here. But man, oh man, James Cook is. I love him. He's a really fun player. I think he's going to go over 1,000 all-purpose yards, but touchdowns are not going to be a plenty there. Like, I would be surprised if he gets to 7 or 8. So we're looking for those guys. And Harris, tell the people, who are we looking for at running back at 6.9, 7.2?
We're looking at right now the 2 people I've queued as Miles Sanders and Alexander Madison. I probably will go running back and then probably draft Darren Waller. So it won't go Tyler Lockett, but if Tyler Lockett's there, I would consider. Yeah,
Kyle Pitts has not gone yet. We have seen most of the tight ends go, but We're not going to say his name, okay, Harris? We're going to not say that the tight end's name that we want. We don't want to jinx anything, so let's just be cool. Itty bitty South City 650.
Everyone before me except this person needs a tight end. So
Okay,
we could go.
Well, I think we got Pitts ahead of him and Goddard ahead of him yet. But I'm going to review this real quick team here. 14 team, half PPR, pick number 4. QB1 is Geno. Wide receiver 1 is Chase. Wide receiver 2 is Devonta Smith. Love that duo. Najee and Akers at the running backs. You got Dulcich at the tight end. Flex is DJ Moore. Bench is Jahan Dotson. Love seeing him on the bench. Hunter Renfrow is just a depth piece here. Elijah Moore, Jeff Wilson. Absolutely love Ferguson on the bench. Is that Breece Hall on the bench? B. Hall? I don't know if there's any other Halls here. Kareem Hunt on the bench as well. Thoughts on this? For a 14 team, man, I kind of like it. Tyler Lockett just went. That's unfortunate, though, Harris. I like this a lot. It looks like you got Najee Akers, and then your next running back is going to be Jeff Wilson. But you got Breece Hall, man. I think you're built at running back for pretty much the whole season. I love Chase, Devonta, DJ Moore, and then I personally really like Jahan Dotson and Elijah Moore. So I think you're deep at receiver. If Dulcich doesn't work out, you got Jake Ferguson, who I'm probably starting Jake Ferguson week 1 over Dulcich. So I think you covered your bases here well, itty bitty. This looks like a really solid 14-team league. And let's go Geno Smith. But Harris, man, we got 2 more picks to go. Do you want to go to the player tab and just look and see? Let's look at the best available.
Yeah, the best available is Justin Fields. He's falling. Miles Sanders could go. From me. So, let's
go look at your neighbor. He's got Hurts, 2 receivers, and 2 running backs. So he doesn't have a tight end. So I think if we want he who must not be named, we have to take him at 6.9, and then we see what
these two teams risk taking him though.
So we got to hold our breath here.
Yes.
Is there any way I can convince you to grab the guy that's 3rd on the list here if we miss out on the other guy?
If you could give well, they were Justin Fields. You could convince me.
How about I convince you? I really like Waller.
You can't convince me over Waller.
So here's what I'm nervous about.
Unless Waller goes.
Look at the fantasy points and look what we're giving up by taking one of these tight ends.
A lot.
Now, can you filter all players by tight end? All players, tight end. Let's look and see where the drop-off happens at tight end. We can still get Njoku, who's projected 100, Ingram 100, Pat Freiermuth 100. Like, we could wait for, Pat Freiermuth, and we're only giving up about 10 projected points. And all those running backs and receivers, man, are projected a lot more points.
Yeah.
But you didn't get Waller last night in your main draft, right?
Yeah, but he was – yeah, but I went Mark Andrews.
You got Mark Andrews. So we got to get you a Waller share.
Okay, so they went Miles Sanders. I'm now on the clock.
All right, let's look at this board here. Let's see. What do you guys think in the chat room? Who should we take? He's got Breece. Nice team.
We have a falling DeAndre and Terry right now.
I'm fine with not getting these guys.
We do have a falling Drake London also.
Show me them RBs, man. These guys are all in the 130s for projections. Running backs are saying, look at that. Holy positional value.
Would you take Alexander Madison over James Conner?
I'm not a big the Cardinals are gonna tank, dude. I'm almost dude. If you want Darren Waller here, we can take Darren Waller and see what spits back around the corner. I like a lot of these running backs on this list.
I know what pick I'm doing. I'm doing one of your favorite players.
I didn't want to say him, but he's my favorite one available at the moment.
I'm taking David Montgomery.
He's projected too low. They only have him at 800 yards, and he's going to get that by.
Let's see what this guy does.
So if he takes Waller, it's unfortunate. I don't think he's going to, but we shall see. Good evening to Chase, by the way. Hope you're doing well, my man. And yeah, we went with Waller. I think this is a huge Waller. This is a big Waller stream. We all like Darren Waller in this group here. Chat, what do you think? Do we grab Darren Waller here? Do we look at a wide receiver? Should we pound another running back? Harris, what take us through your mind right now, man? What are we? What are we thinking?
I'm thinking of actually not going Waller.
What's Christian Watson goes, dude? What are you thinking? You want to double down on running back and be done?
I may want to go a stack. Mike Williams is still here.
Getting Mike Daddy.
But I got Mike Daddy last night as my wide receiver too.
He sticks out, man. Like McLaurin, Hopkins, London's on a poor passing team. Judy's hurt. Godwin's on the Bucks. Like, I don't. Justin's calling for the stack too. I don't think we could gamble and see if Mike comes back around. The tight ends.
I just don't think Mike's going to come back.
And like we like running backs later. Like you like your Khalil Herbert, Brian Robinson.
But the problem is the next pick I'm probably gonna have to take
tight end.
Probably gonna have to take my Zay. I can actually wait on Zay Flowers here.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna take Darren Waller here. I'm just gonna go with the best available. I want to do the stack this year.
The stack is fun, man. We're investing in the Chargers, one of the best passing offenses here, and in a standard format here, it looks like I have Mike Williams as my wide receiver 20. My bad, he's wide receiver 17, which is actually ranked ahead of DJ Moore. So I think we got someone with Mike Williams. Every week we know he's got incredible ceiling. He could go for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns any weekend, right? He just needs to get us a floor of about 50, 60 yards. That's what we're hoping for.
And Darren Waller run immediately.
Yeah, so Darren Waller gone. But Harris, I would say in a standard league, Waller's a PPR tight end, right?
But he's their number 1 receiver, so he's probably going to get the most yards.
He's probably going to get the most yards. I totally agree. But I would say, would it surprise you if Dallas Goedert caught more touchdowns than Darren Waller? Would it surprise you if Pat Freiermuth caught more touchdowns than Darren Waller?
They're hard because Darren Waller is their number 1 receiver versus those other teams have at least 2 other receivers that could definitely be touchdown hogs.
Yep. The thing that I think Pat has going for him is the defenses have to focus on Pickens, Deontay, and Najee, and sometimes Pat just gets kind of left on the worst defender. And near the red zone, I think Pat looks pretty good. In the preseason game, the Giants actually used Darren Waller as a decoy, and they opened it up for Daniel Bellinger, the backup tight end. So I do feel good about Waller being heavily involved in the offense, but if he only caught 4 or 5, 6, like Daniel Jones doesn't throw a lot of touchdowns. Whereas like I would bet Dallas Goedert has more touchdown upside than a Darren Waller. And we know Kyle Pitts can't catch touchdowns, even if he wanted to buy him. So it's interesting. But I think we did the right thing. You got your first, like Mike Williams is on the bench. Like you don't even need him.
Yeah. He's my 3rd wide receiver.
Yeah, so you're 3 deep at receiver, you're 3 deep at tight end or running back. I think you're doing pretty good here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I Justin like makes a good point. Like when you think about the Giants, who's going to lead that team in touchdowns? It's going to be Saquon Barkley, and we'll see. Our guy Daniel here also prefers Goddard over Waller. I think in a full PPR league, I'm going to prefer Darren Waller because we expect him to lead the Giants in targets and receptions and receiving yards. But when it shifts to standard, man, I think Dallas Goedert's kind of a sleeping giant because if Goddard catches 8, 9, 10 touchdowns this year, like personally, I'm not going to be surprised. And actually, when I filter my projections by standard, Goddard is tight end 3 behind Kelsey and Andrews, but it's literally by 1.5 points. So it's not all that different. And we don't have to take Dallas Goedert at the next turn if we don't want to. It seems like I know Harris just drafting with you all the time. We like to kind of wait for tight ends. Like if we have to spot start Tyler Conklin, like we're cool with that. Like we'll figure it out. But we're moving here. Mike Williams, Darren Waller, Kyle Pitts, Isaiah Pacheco.
This one's shocking for my dad. This one's I'm shocked that he took him.
Tell me more.
it's a good offense, which I get, but I didn't last year. He just didn't seem interested last year, and I'm surprised he's interested. He did take two. He did take a double.
Does he have a QB yet, or is he lining up a dirty, nasty? Oh, he's lining something dirty.
No. I have done this double with. I did this in 2020. The league I won in 2020. I did the dirty and doubled with both of these and Russell Wilson.
He's also got a little Kelsey Pacheco little mini stack in there too. Tight end, running back. Like he's got a good chance at getting 20 touchdowns out of those two. So
yeah.
I personally, I think in a standard league, like stacking for touchdowns on good offenses makes a lot of sense. Like you got Justin Herbert and Mike Williams. Like if Mike Williams catches touchdown, like if he catches 10 touchdowns this year and Herbert throws for 35 to 40 touchdowns, like you're going to have fun. Like we're going to have a really good season. If David Montgomery runs for 10 to 12 touchdowns, like booyah. I mean, we don't even have to talk about CMC and the other guys we took earlier here, but it looks really good when you do that. Daniel's asking here, who will be the Mahomes receiver? Harris, why don't we tell him what's going on at receiver here for the Chiefs?
So the Chiefs, the number one obviously receiver is going to be Travis Kelce. But if you're wanting to just do the wide receiver, I think the number one wide receiver is probably going to be Sky Moore. They're showing that it could also be Valdez Scantling, but Sky Moore is going to be way more valuable than Scantling.
So the way. If you guys know, I really like to look at those snap depth charts and see who's running the most snaps and the most routes and getting targets. I think MVS is going to be on the field the most, but we know what MVS is. He's kind of just like a deep ball target guy that's going to, take the top off the defense. He's probably going to be their number one receiver in terms of snaps and routes run, but the guy that's going to get the ball the most, not named Travis Kelce, is going to be Sky Moore. Justin saying Tony is a must. I'm personally
I was in on Tony and then I just left early.
If Tony falls, sure, I get it, but the thing with Tony is like you might just be burning a roster spot the entire season on your bench. You cut him by week 11 and then week 13 he scores 2 touchdowns and you get mad, and it's just like he's such a headache. Personally, reading the tea leaves in Kansas City, I think the one you want is Sky Moore, and he's the slot receiver. They've given him the slot job, and he didn't lose it. Like he was running in the slot all 3 preseason games. He's locked into that role. Last year, Juju Smith-Schuster was pretty good in that role, and Pat Mahomes, I believe. I don't remember where I found the stat, but I think he targets the slot receiver the most in the NFL in like the last season or two. So Sky Moore is the clear guy that I want if I'm drafting a Chiefs receiver. And then actually, Justin, after Sky Moore, I like Richie James. I don't know if you guys are ready for that conversation yet, but I think Richie James, we're going to be talking about him on my waiver wire show week 1 or 2. That's the guy that I'm looking at here. Justin asked, so McKinnon and CH done? No, these guys all have roles. I think Pacheco's the clear guy that's going to lead the team in carries. He's going to get 12 to 15 carries. He's going to be the goal line potential back. McKinnon is what it is. Like we know he's a PPR receiving back, third down back, end of the first half and end of the game if they need him. Pacheco's going to close it out. We might see Clyde Edwards-Helaire make a revival, but the money's on Pacheco here. But otherwise, Harris, Dallas Goedert did go. Brian Robinson goes. George Pickens goes. And Alvin Kamara. So now that you're about 5 picks away, do you want to kind of just take us through the player tab and just let us know like what kind of players are sticking out for you at the next turn?
DeAndre Hopkins, definitely. He's falling. He's falling. Who just went? Let me putting this up. We have a San Francisco defense just went, but that's an auto draft. That's the auto draft team. It's
a good defense.
We do have a falling Drake London here as well. Let's look at I would also be interested in these 3 also at the pick. Deontay, Mike, and Christian Kirk. Let's see. At running backs, we have we have a falling Rachaad White here. Khalil Herbert, you're not going to convince me because I already drafted DJ Moore. There just went Hopkins, so he just got snagged. I probably may not go running back with my next pick, but if Rachaad White's there, I would consider.
I'm really glad we grabbed Montgomery.
Yeah, and then tight end, probably Pat Fryermuth would be the pick if I went tight end. So let's go back to here and we'll see who goes next.
And yeah, Chase does say Johnson's a PPR monster, but Justin, Richie James on the Chiefs, man. Richie James is on the Chiefs. He's going to be their returner, and he's going to be rotating in at wide receiver 3 for Patrick Mahomes. Holden says, "What up? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well." I'm torn at this pick, man. We're on deck here. I think you have a luxury of whatever you want. Did any of the tight ends stick out yet? Like,
it's Pat Fryermuth, but I can. Should I go because this team doesn't have one?
Go ahead and look at the players, and I want to look at the flex players. We're not drafting a QB, so personally, I don't hate Drake London, but look at the value of the fantasy points that Pat Fryermuth and Evan Ingram give us.
I'd rather Pat Fryermuth than Evan Ingram.
But like you see how like we're losing about 30 to 40 points of value based on like these guys like London, Judy, Pittman. These guys are all like wide receiver 3, 4s, like, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of torn on that. Yeah, we're up to pick right now. Jahan Dotson, dang it!
I wanted. I was. Oh my! I was gonna go hit. I was gonna.
No.
Oh that was one of my. That was so. This is very hard here. This is very hard here. This makes let me look at my neighbor.
All right, we're good. We got about a minute. So he's gonna probably look at tight end here, Ingram or Fryermuth. He's pretty well balanced, so he can go whatever way.
I'm gonna go Pat Fryermuth, which means I will not go. I will not go Deontay.
That's fine.
I'm hoping Drake London comes back to me.
I think London's my pick here.
Even though I've London as an avoid, this draft cost I would do.
Round 9 in a 10 team like this is like, what are we doing here? Like London. I mean, when you're looking at positional value, like he's the number 1 target, number 1 receiver on his team. If you guys go back and look at his box scores, the last 4 games of last year, like he was actually pretty decent with Desmond Ridder, and he actually didn't even score a touchdown in those games. He was productive, and I feel strongly about him being the target. But hopefully, looks like Canna Kings grabs the PPR dynamo Deontay Johnson, which I think Deontay's still a decent pick in a standard league, but obviously just doesn't have the juice. But yeah, it looks like the guys here are liking Drake London as well. And dude, honestly, like London, like see, look at like so Njoku went, like he probably was looking at Fryermuth, which is why he went Deontay. So London he's one of those second-year receivers. Like I think every draft that you guys do the rest of the way, you want a second-year breakout receiver, whether it's London, Garrett Wilson, and Harris already has Garrett Wilson, like London, Wilson, Jahan. You want a second-year breakout receiver candidate, and you also want to get a rookie wide receiver here.
I'm gonna risk it with London.
I think we're sold on London.
Yeah, I'm gonna go London. My next pick definitely is gonna be running back.
Yeah, and see what's nice is you are 3 deep at running back, and guess what? Like you're not moving McCaffrey, you're not moving Mixon from those starting lineups because we love those offenses. If anything, you might move Montgomery up to flex in a good game, like if they're playing a junk team. I can see it. But if you want to,
I do want to try to get Say Flowers.
Man, the Jahan Dotson pull hurt. That one hurt.
Tucker just got drafted.
That's the other one I couldn't think of. Chris Olave is also on the list here, but I highly recommend guys. Like if there was one year, 2020, I just heavily targeted year 2 and year 3 wide receivers. And I ended up with like AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, and DK Metcalf, and they all of them hit in the same year. I went 12-1. I didn't win the championship because just unfortunate events happened. But ever since that year, my philosophy has been you need at least 1, if not 2, second-year or third-year breakout wide receivers. And honestly, like I'm starting to have this thing where it's like, the closer the player is to 25 years old, the more I want them on my team. Because sometimes we haven't seen the best of their football yet, but we're having pretty good value here. I mean, Drake, I think everyone agrees here in the chat, like Drake London at 9.2. Like in the best ball drafts that I do, which are still like half PPR and full PPR, like he's a late 4th round pick. So I think we
Okay, Christian Kirk just went.
Yeah. It seemed like you found some decent receivers and running backs there, Harris. So I think we're in good shape right now.
Yeah.
I do want to just look real quick at
if I can get Rashad White or Mike Evans in my next pick, that would be really good.
Do you remember that graphic I pulled up with the strength of schedule earlier, and we said that the Falcons had the second easiest schedule this year, which
yes,
honestly it bodes extremely well for two guys, maybe three. It's for Bijan, for London, and for Ritter. And I guess for
why not Pitts?
I think for me, and you kind of see what we were doing here, where I said, look at the positional value, look how low the tight end points are. I have an incredibly tough time clicking on Kyle Pitts in that round when I'm clicking Mike Williams instead, or some of the other receivers and running backs. So it's extremely hard for me to click on Pitts, but I really want Pitts to freaking do something and make us excited for next year. Hopefully we get that. But hey, we got defenses rolling out here, so we got 2 auto picks. Nice to know.
And we also have a Dawson Knox sighting here.
What's that team name?
Polishing a turd, and this is the commissioner.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna polish that Dawson Knox one for the
someone did this in my draft last night too. They drafted Dawson Knox.
Oh, you can't do that over Kincaid. Although in a touchdown league, I get it. But also, Harris, do you know who the best value tight end is in a standard league at the end of the drafts?
You're gonna say Jake Ferguson, aren't you?
In a half PPR or full PPR, I would say Jake Ferguson, but this is a guy that I think I had to take a little bit of convincing for you, and then I've seen you started to mock him lately with one of your last picks.
Oh, it's it's easy. It's Taysom Hill.
It's Taysom Hill, man. Let me see here. When I filter my projections to standard, Taysom Hill is tight end number 9. Not going to be pretty, but he's going to get touchdowns. He's going to get a game or 2 or 3 or 4 where he runs for a touchdown and catches one. It's going to be some stupid stuff, but he's going to end up finding the end zone here and there. But we're moving into the 10th round here. A lot of receivers here. London, Judy, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Michael Pittman Jr. Man, oh man, that Jahan Dotson one. And we didn't even see him on the list. So Gophers Burrow there. He went deep for that one. So that was a really good pull. I also think George Pickens is another one of those second-year receivers that I really, really am excited about. And obviously, Harris, you said Deontay is the PPR guy, but Pickens in a standard league, like Pickens, he's on my list. I really like that pick there. And then, yeah, I don't know, man. I think we're on coast for the most part. I don't know when Harris, when do you like to pull your defense or kicker?
I pull defense and kicker last 2 picks.
Okay. So we'll worry about that. How many bench picks you have?
I have
4?
this much. I have 4 bench picks, and we have Jahan. That was one pick set. We have 2. These first 2 players are falling like crazy. They may be my next 2 picks.
Honestly, I don't hate Mike Evans, Rashad White. Obviously, we both like Zay Flowers and Gibson, and I mean Sky Moore is still out there. P. Ryan, there's so many good players.
Ryan, Zach Sharp. I just highlighted some here.
Yo, where's Jalen Warren in the list? Are we out on him?
Jalen. No, this is for me. This is too high to draft Jalen Warren.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking to add him to the queue. But we got plenty of time here.
This is just the queue for the next pick.
Oh, okay. You'd take Kenny Gainwell that high?
Wow. I would take Kenny Gainwell here.
Wow. Did DeAndre Swift go
yet? Yes.
Okay. Daniel says Kincaid, Musgrave, Ferguson must be your backup tight end. Are you interested in drafting a backup tight end, Harris? Since we got Freiermuth.
Freiermuth is the last tight end I would leave by themselves.
Okay, I think I'm in agreement with that. But hey, like if we see like a tight end falling there and you want to just get him as your last pick, maybe we do that. If there's no running back or receiver that sticks out, maybe it makes sense. I'm also, Harris, not opposed to 2 defenses in a standard league because, dude, if a defense scores a touchdown, like that's gonna win you your week, you know. So playing those matchups in a defense league, especially a standard league, like a good how many points is a good defense week for this league, Harris?
So 10 is what they start with.
Mm-hmm.
So anything above 10, I say is good.
Okay, yeah, and for me, like my brother and I, we share a keeper team that's standard format, and we basically say we just want a minimum of like 6 points for our defense. If we don't get, and that's kind of the floor that we like for all of our players. Like if our running back still gets us 6 points, it's okay. Like anything less than that is kind of a bust. Um, but I think that 6 to 10 point window is a decent day for the defense. Obviously, if they get more than double digits, that's great too. Mike Evans off the board.
Yeah, this was the auto pick. The auto pick.
Yeah,
I knew he was so low. The auto pick's just gonna screw with you.
I think Rashad White's probably going to get nipped by Pete's definitive there, so we might be stuck there. If you want to go to the players tab here and let's just see who's top available at ADP. Looks like Evan Ingram's going to
Rashad
go.
White's actually not the top.
Okay, so you do have a chance there. Why don't you filter by flex? Let's get the QBs and the defense off the list.
Rashad White just went.
Rashad White just went, yeah. So back-to-back values on Tampa Bay. But yeah, we know we're not picking defense, kicker, or quarterback here.
We do have a
Antonio Gibson's the top player on your board. Honestly, Harris, I don't hate taking Khalil Herbert. If you really believe in him, it does not bother me to grab Khalil Herbert on your team and put him on your bench. It's not like you're starting him every week, but if you believe in the player and you see like he's technically going to be a decent value here at 10.9, I don't hate the pick.
Khalil. I mean, I have DJ Moore, so I don't really want to do that. But this, I would have to pick him here because this guy's most likely going to pick a running.
But hey,
pick a running back.
Since we missed out on Jahan Dotson, I don't hate grabbing Antonio Gibson because we also missed out on Brian Robinson. And when I was looking at the Commanders' schedule, I think I pulled it up with you, Harris, too, the other day. We noticed that the Commanders have a little bit of a tougher schedule, which to me means we're going to see more Antonio Gibson in those tougher games, especially in the second half if the Commanders are losing. So I think any week, if you put Antonio Gibson out there, we know he's a pretty electric player. He can take any play to the house. He did score a touchdown in the preseason. A nice play here.
AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
That's a surprise.
What? Tell me why.
Darren Khalil. So I guess I'm not getting Khalil. So I guess I know who I'm going with my next pick. It's just a surprise. I'm surprised he went with my dad's going they went Tua. That's Tua. So I'll talk about him really. Let me pick this pick. So I'm on the clock. I'm gonna go with Zay. I have to. I feel confident I can get a running back. That's cute here back.
I don't care about ADP. I just get your guys. ADP is not going to matter next weekend. You know, like week one, we're not going to really care where we drafted these guys. We're just going to care that we drafted them or we didn't draft them. So Zay Flowers, you got your rookie receiver. You got a couple second-year receivers. Samaje Perine, good pick there.
So let's go look at the running back since that's my next. We interested in any of these three?
I don't hate Jamal Williams, but the issue with Jamal Williams is he has the most value at the beginning of the year while Kamara's there. Are you going to start Jamal Williams at any point in the first 3 games?
No, probably not.
So I think with this mindset, you have CMC, you have Mixon, and you have Montgomery. This is something that you want to make this player. I think you want to make him last the middle of the season to the end of the season. Personally, I like Gibson. Otherwise, I don't hate Zach Charbonnet as the handcuff there. We don't have a Seattle player. We did miss on Lockett and Metcalf and Geno.
I'm going to draft Gibson again.
And to me, it was Gibson or Charbonnet here.
So there's my second draft in a row of Gibson.
Yep. And yeah, man, Gibson's one of my favorite picks to make this season. I think the Commanders are going to be actually decent on offense. It's just a matter of if Howell can take care of the ball. So we know we have 2 more bench spots to fill.
I do have 2 more, and then I'm drafting defense and kicker.
So what are the final 2 spots? You want 1 more receiver, 1 more running back?
I'm gonna play to who falls. I would like any of these guys that are currently queued.
Yeah, like Charbonnet would be a lock for me if he's there
to come back to me, but I think Gainwell is the most. I think Gainwell's the most likely to come back. This one's the least likely.
Harris.
Ooh, Sky Moore just.
Marvin Mims, dude. This is a Broncos draft, right?
Yes.
Let's get Marvin Mims on the squad.
My dad just went Sky Moore. He has now 3 players on the same offense.
Yeah, he's putting his eggs in the right basket. But
Sky Moore was gonna be. If Sky Moore was here, I would have taken him.
In hindsight, would you swap Sky Moore for Gibson right now and then grab 2 running backs to end your draft?
No, I wouldn't have.
No,
I think
you like the balance.
Yeah,
Okay,
I like the balance.
I tend to agree because it would have been tough for us to get Sky Moore in your lineup. Honestly, Harris, I think these next final 2 picks should both be rookies. Guys I've
already taken a rookie.
You got a rookie, but Zay Flowers is like ready to play now, right?
Yeah.
So the rookies that I would consider, especially at receiver, like I'm looking at Marvin Mims, I'm looking at Jaden Reed, even Jonathan Mingo. I know you like the Carolina. Like if you want Adam Thielen, we can grab Adam Thielen too.
Yeah.
But the way that I'm playing this is whatever you pick here at 12-9 and 13-02, you're probably not playing this player for a while. So that's why it makes sense for me to stack some younger players, whether it's a rookie or a second-year guy. Guys like I like Kenneth Gainwell because we don't know what he's going to be in that offense. I like I don't mind Tyler Algier. I like because the Falcons have the easiest schedule. If they're winning, I don't hate him. I love Jaylen Warren is probably the pick for me. If I had to pick one running back from this list, the rest of the way it's Charbonnet, it's Gainwell, it's Warren.
Here's a falling Jackson Smith-Njigba.
We can get him. Let's get him because guess what? If they put him on if they give him the big red O, do you have an IR spot?
I think I'm not sure.
Okay, I would say because like if JSN misses the first 4 games, you get a free pickup right away, man. That would be sweet.
He's a really low juju.
Yeah. I wouldn't trade Jordan Love away either, Chase. My Mr. Irrelevant would be Deuce Vaughn. Love the guy.
Here's a super low Nico Collins.
Yeah, that's a really quality wide receiver 1.
Don't care for the rest of those.
Can you tap fan points here? Let's just see who rises to the top. I really like Treylon Burks too because like you've kind of mentioned like we don't trust DeAndre Hopkins. Well, if DeAndre Hopkins goes down, we got Treylon Burks, which feels pretty good.
There's what Brock Purdy.
Okay, who took what?
And Anthony Richardson.
Taking Brock Purdy over. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Brock Purdy was not an auto-drafted team.
Oh my goodness.
And let's just look at tight end for funsies. We have a falling Evan Ingram.
That would make me hesitate. If he comes back, I think we would have to do it. And yeah, I don't hate taking rookies here. You do like Irv Smith, Chig.
And I'm gonna highlight your guy. Where is he?
He's gonna go on. I can't believe how low he is on Yahoo. It makes me sick. But what do you think about grabbing? Obviously, like we've talked about the Saints defense. Is there any other defense out there that you want to run out for the whole season?
Probably not. I had a friend try to convince me on the Jaguars, but I'm like, nope.
Do you want 2 defenses, Harris?
I am not going to take 2 defenses.
Okay.
I'm only willing to hold 2 defenses if it's for the playoffs.
Okay, so like me and my brother, like around October, if your team's feeling good and you're like, yeah, I think we can make the playoffs. Like we'll look at the schedule November, December, and that's when we start to collect our defenses. And like we'll add a defense and not even play them because we're like, oh, they're gonna play the Cardinals and the Rams week 15, 16. Like that's what we start to look for.
They weren't sure, but no.
That was a big QB run there, huh? Tua, Dak, Daniel, Rodgers, Purdy, Richardson.
But there's 2 auto drafters.
Your dad does not have a QB yet. He's gonna get.
No, he does. He has Kirk Cousins.
Okay, I was gonna say he's gonna get Geno Smith for free and just complete that nasty stack.
He could still do it.
He might still do it. In fact, like if I were him,
my dad's probably going to draft another quarterback. He said he will never do Kirk Cousins as his only wide quarterback. Sorry, I didn't mean running back.
You got to play the matchups with Kirk. Totally makes sense. But we got so we're gonna do for sure one more running back, and then we're gonna see what the tight end and the receivers look like, right?
Yeah.
All right. Any final pitch I can make for you on Marvin Mims?
It depends on who's here, and I did not. Did I highlight Adam Thielen? I did. So if it's not, I've probably Marvin Mims. I do have selected here.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to take him.
Because I mean, we got Nico, we got Burks.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe JSN's still on the board, dude.
Yeah. If my dad takes JSN, that's going to be wild.
That'd be too much.
That would be like you're putting all your chips in one basket.
I don't know how we don't take JSN here, though. Especially like if you have an IR spot, Harris, that's a free like move. As soon as he gets the red O, you move him to the out.
Let me check if I have an IR spot. I can check because my league's the exact same as this one.
Yeah, if you can find that out real quick, because then I think the dude he shouldn't be hanging around this late. Like we know he's good, just don't know how good.
I have a single IR spot.
All right. I'm so like you can maybe try and get him at 13. I think you want a running back at 12-9. But I mean at this point you can go. I mean, we want running backs that are going to score touchdowns. I mean Zeke, Gainwell, Mostert, Warren, Bigsby, like they're all freaking good picks at this point.
Yeah, anyone's really good. Anyone's good here. Like there's Michael Thomas is still here.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like.
Like
I have some. I probably won't take tight end now.
Yeah, I would say because we have Pat, you have 5 weeks to figure out to add a tight end. I wouldn't waste the roster spot on a tight end too. You can look to add one, a week or two into the season and be just fine with it. But 1, 2, 3, 2 picks left. There goes Chico Kakwo. Evan Ingram did go. What's your preference here? Are you going to go running back or JSN?
I'm going to see what these two teams do, and then I'll.
Who's top?
They're on JSN.
Can we see top available by ADP? I just want to see what the deal. You can filter by flex because we know we're not taking a QB. Penny?
Nope. Who just went? So the player who just went. Last pick was Evan McPherson. So with this pick.
Tell us what you got.
So with this pick, it's between two guys. It's between Treylon Burks and what's his name? I'm spacing and Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas. Who would you go with?
I personally would go with Treylon Burks. Do you know why I say that?
Not exactly.
Who would I rather have in December?
Treylon Burks because Michael Thomas could be injured at that point.
Michael Thomas could be injured by that point, and also DeAndre Hopkins could be old and useless by that point.
And this is a falling Treylon Burks.
Yeah, and dude, Treylon Burks practiced. He's back at practice today. Like he's playing week 1. Like we're still freaking 2 weeks out. Like he's playing week 1.
I'm taking the falling dude.
That could look like a really nice pick.
Okay, my next pick is probably going to be running back based on what happens here.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, flip a coin. I think Zeke in a standard league, that's the only format I would take Zeke in. So if you want to take Zeke, this is your moment to do it. I know you like him. But otherwise, like Gainwell, you don't have an Eagle yet on your offense. Like I wouldn't mind exposure to that offense. You do have a Steeler. We don't need Jalen Warren. But I'm a huge fan of like getting exposure.
What about Tank Bigsby?
You don't have a Jag yet, do you either?
No.
And he's a fun rookie. Like I like high upside youthful running backs on the end of my bench here. So Bigsby.
Any interest in Mostert here?
Probably not because you're not going to start him. Right? You have 4 good running backs that you would probably play ahead of Mostert if you needed to. So Mostert is like, he falls into that category. Like, is this guy going to be on my team in December? Right. So that's where like Warren, Bigsby, those guys at this point in the draft, they start to perk up for me. I think another rookie that I like, that maybe it's too deep of a rookie, but I really like Tajay Spears on the end of my bench in deeper formats, but he's a PPR play. But Bigsby, if ETN goes down, like Bigsby is probably a league winner, honestly. Same thing with Jalen Warren.
I'm gonna. No, Kenneth Gainwell here. Does this? I could see this being a committee this year.
Yeah, I think Philly's basically going to be last man standing. Whoever's healthiest by week 7 or 8 will be the guy you need. So,
I'm going to draft Jalen Warren. I'm willing to do it because the only other player I have on that team is a tight end.
Yeah, tight end doesn't matter if you have a player that correlates to the tight end, but Jalen Warren looks good.
Okay, let's see who got drafted. Kadarius Toney.
My little Tony. So defense and kicker, man. Let's play for the Saints. I think that's the team we want.
Yeah, the Saints haven't been drafted yet, so we're good. If the Saints get drafted, then my next default pick is to go to Washington.
And I think the Saints are a little bit lower ranked on Yahoo, so I think you do have a good odd of getting them. Unfortunately, we might be one of the last teams to take a defense, so we'll do the defense dance here and see what we can end up with.
Yeah.
But, overall, man, how are you feeling about the squad you've selected here so far?
It's very different than the one I selected the other day.
It never goes how you expect.
I got a lot of players I really like. They were in Kenneth Gainwell. This was my first draft, taking 2 people on my void list.
And who were they?
Traylon Burks and Drake London.
But they both were like deals by multiple rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a lesson.
And I just took Deshaun Watson here.
Good value.
He did not complete the Geno stack.
That's pretty good value. But I will say there's a lesson here where I like to say I don't hate players. I hate their ADPs.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of guys, some guys get drafted too high, and that's why we hate them. A guy like James Cook going in the 6th round of a standard league. I love James Cook, but I hate that ADP. Just doesn't make any sense. Jackson Smith and the Jigba, I hate his situation this year, but I love that ADP. So, like,
yeah,
sometimes you got to take what they give you. And those young guys, you got another year 2 breakout receiver in Traylon Burks. So you're loading up on the youth man. And what's beautiful is, like, you got DJ Moore, you got Garrett Wilson, you got Mike Williams. I mean, you might not even need these young receivers that you got, but you got them. And that's what's nice to have. Like, scroll down and look at that beautiful bench you got. That bench is Mike Williams, Drake London, Zay Flowers, Gibson, Burks, and Jalen Warren. Like, that's made up, right? Like that.
Yeah, I went definitely wide receiver heavy in this draft.
And you still got CMC and Joe Mixon, dude. And Montgomery. Like this is a really and I think the thing that we did was we waited on tight end a little bit later than I think you usually do, because you like to pull Waller, you like to pull Andrews.
Yeah, sometimes I like to go Kelsey too.
But I think this is probably not like a comfort zone squad for you, but it's an exciting one to say the least, man. I think.
Yeah, even though I took all my guys in my fantasy MVP, still took some risks with this one.
That's what you got to do. But like, your risks are exciting. Like, look at that bench: London, Flowers, Gibson, Burks, and Warren, and Mike Williams. I'm excited about that. Honestly, like, when you come to me week 1 and say, who do I cut? I'm not going to be able to tell you what to do. Like, that's going to be tough. Nico Collins just went. Philly D. Yeah, man, I think we're having a good draft here so far. What are you thinking for kicker?
A kicker, I just take a kicker on a good offense.
So not the Broncos kicker.
No, not the Broncos kicker. I went yesterday I went the Jaguars kicker.
Yeah, Riley Patterson or whatever his name is, or not the Lions guy.
That's the Lions guy. I took him.
McManus now, right?
Yes, McManus. Yeah.
All right, yeah, I've taken the Lions guy and the Jags guy a decent amount. I don't hate the Vikings kicker.
Yeah.
Even though it just feels like weird to take the Vikings kicker because it feels like it's cursed, but otherwise, like I like to take kickers on teams that personally I don't love.
They went New Orleans.
I don't love grabbing elite offenses kickers because they score too many touchdowns.
Yeah.
I like a team like Seattle because like they're gonna move the ball. They stall out in the red zone sometimes, but they move the ball. A team for me lately, like I've loved. I don't know if you know Daniel Carlson for the Raiders, but like the Raiders can't score touchdowns, but they move the ball enough to get close where he could. The dude hit a 62-yard field goal the other day. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, Daniel Carlson's one of. I think he's like Tucker's the GOAT like right now, but I think Daniel Carlson's the next best kicker in the league, and I've had him the last 3 or 4 years in my league, and he's kicked me to a couple championships. Like he's really good. He's on the Raiders. Like the Raiders they're not gonna be a good team, but I think they're gonna kick a lot of field goals, and they're indoors.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, that hurts to see the Saints go. So now we're looking at strictly looking at the Commanders, or do you like the Ravens at home against the Texans?
I've just gone with the Commanders, but I would do the Ravens too.
Alrighty, let me pull up that Ravens schedule. The Ravens are going to get the Texans and then the Bengals week 2.
So I'd immediately drop them basically.
Don't love that.
The Commanders isn't. The Commanders could be good week 2, but
would you start them against Denver at Denver? It's probably going to be a lower scoring game. Like like during the regular season, we're going to look at the total points projected in a game. The closer it is to 40, the more I like a defense in that game. I wouldn't expect that game to be a shootout.
I could see that game being low scoring in the penny.
Washington. He got New Orleans and Washington. Is he watching the stream?
I do not know. So I guess the Ravens are now my default.
Yeah, he pulled. Let me see if I can find any other week 1 darling for you. Week 1. Lions versus Chiefs, Panthers versus Falcons. You want to start the Falcons defense against Bryce Young? Colts, Jags, Vikings, Bucks.
Baltimore went.
Steelers is a good defense. They're going to play the 49ers week 1, which you got TMC.
I'm not doing that.
Packers, Bears, Broncos, Raiders. You want to play the Broncos D? What did the Eagles go? I think they did go. Dolphins, Chargers, Rams, Seahawks, Giants, Cowboys, and Bills, Jets. Yuck.
Who is Miami? Who do they play?
Chargers. So no.
No.
Rams play
the Giants.
Giants play the Cowboys.
Any interest in who's Seattle again?
Seattle plays the Rams. I don't hate that one. That one's in Seattle as well.
What about Cincinnati?
Cincinnati's gonna host. No, they're at Cleveland.
And then the Chargers we don't like. What about Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay's at Minnesota.
Nope. And then Arizona and Houston are bad.
I mean, do you have any preference on Green Bay, Chicago?
I would take Chicago. They're Dalton Kincaid.
Finally. Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, the Jags play the Colts week 1. That might just be the safest move to play right now because we don't think Jonathan Taylor is going to be there, and it's Anthony Richardson. You might get a turnover or two. Probably the Jaguars.
The Jaguars play who week 1?
The Colts. Jags, Colts.
Yeah, I'm taking Jaguars.
And I'm pulling up my chart right now.
Are the Jaguars available?
Indianapolis Colts. This is the order of teams right here. I'm going to list some teams, and they're going to score the fewest points, and I'm going to continue going up. So the Cardinals are supposed to score the fewest. Texans, Steelers, Titans, Bucks, Panthers. The defenses that are playing those teams, you got Washington, which is gone, Baltimore gone, San Fran, New Orleans, Minnesota. Do you want to play Minnesota against Baker Mayfield? It's in Minnesota. Otherwise, Atlanta.
No.
Atlanta's at home hosting Bryce Young, and the Jags. The Jags are versus the Colts. I think I'm fine with I'm fine with.
Yeah, I'm doing the Jags, and then I'm gonna do whatever kicker is. I'm projected the least amount of points.
That's because you see all the QB. These guys got QB2s.
Yeah.
You see all that, so that I'm not like. Look at your
Tanks Bigsby went. And I'm on the clock now for kicker. Who here at kicker would you take?
You want to filter by fan points? I'm probably going Young Ho Koo. Or the Lions. Do you want to get the Lion? You don't have a Lion, man.
No, I do. I have a David Montgomery.
Oh, my bad. So
I'm gonna go Jason Sanders.
Yeah, Dolphins kicker, like get a good offense. Like I like getting. That's a good way to get a leverage into a team that you don't have access to. But go back to that standings tab real quick, and then we'll wrap up the show here.
I'm in last right now.
That's fine, just because you have the fewest QB points, because we only drafted. Well, Ayahuasca does too. But your running back points are the second most, or your wide receiver points are the second most.
Yeah.
And your running back points are pretty up there. Tight end points, we just didn't take 2. But we're so strong at running back and wide receiver that I think you're going to be able to stand the test of time. Whereas tight end, like, doesn't really matter. Like we're gonna get our Pat Fryermuth touchdowns and our points there. I think that's fine. And then it's the 2 quarterbacks is what's tilting it right now. Like Blanca Rhino, like he drafted who?
Devontae A-Chain just went.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna. These are just like people who've taken.
Who did Rhino set? Blanca Rhino 77. Who are his QBs?
Blanco Rhino. He was an auto draft. He was Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, he's got 2 QBs. That's why he's going to be up there. I'm not really. Yeah. Standings or whatever, but this was fun, man. Do you have any final any thoughts or questions or feelings on how the draft went tonight?
My draft so far all my drafts are going in ways that like if you saw my mock drafts and then you looked at my 2 drafts, you're like that did not all go anything like you mock draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mock drafts are sometimes fool's gold, where it feels good, but there's a point where like auto drafting starts to happen and it kind of skews the back end of the draft. Maybe next year, Harris, we get you doing some best balls. And Justin says he loves the draft. Have a good rest of your evening, man. Giants defense. Yeah, we tried getting the Saints defense out, Booby, but we just couldn't do it. But yeah, man. Personally, I like the team, but I'm one of those guys that I value the bench so much. I don't really care what my starting lineup looks after I'm done drafting. I care about how good my bench looks, and I think your bench looks fantastic. This is a team that you got Christian McCaffrey, probably the best player in a standard league format, man. And you got Justin Herbert, who in a 6-point passing league, dude, he could be QB1. So you got potentially 2 guys that could lead their position in scoring. Obviously, we like the receivers we grabbed throughout the way, and I just think your bench depth is really, really strong. You're going to have the ability to answer questions with your lineup all season long, and when it's time for making waiver wire runs, you're going to be able to do it. So probably doesn't feel as good as you were hoping for, but I'm excited about the team. You got some really good values, and I think you're super deep, man. Like, I think you're going to have a hard time cutting these players because I think you're going to hold on to them for pretty much all year, right?
Yeah, all of them are pretty much all your players except maybe Jalen Warren.
If you had to ask me who do we cut to pick up somebody, like it's probably Warren, which that's, to me, it speaks to the strength of your team. I think you did pretty good. So This was fun, but I think that's going to do it for the stream, guys. I want to shout out to everybody hanging out in the draft. We had Justin, we had Al Boogie saying great job. Chase was with us, Daniel was with us, and I think I got everybody here. There might have been a few other stragglers. Itty Bitty, South City 650. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Tomorrow, I'm going to be posting a video. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but Wednesday night we'll do our live stream. Harris, man, this was fun having you on the show. We'll try and get this. We'll try and get you back on the show sometime soon. But otherwise, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you. We'll see you in a future video. Peace.